What's going on, chicken friends? It's Donna Little from the Coop Scoop, and I'm in the coop hiding from the chickens because they were being so loud. They're probably going to find me though. But I want to talk to you guys today about a hot topic, something that gets people heated. To heat or not to heat? That is the question. And I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but it brings out the worst in a whole lot of people in the chicken community. So if you are not in any chicken groups and you get in one and you want to pose this question, buckle up, because hey girl, I knew y'all would find me, because this is something that people are very passionate about. And there are people that are on team, your chickens can handle anything Mother Nature throws at them. You never need to supplement heat no matter what the circumstances are. And then you have the other team that says, make your birds as comfortable as possible, and then it just goes downhill from there. So either way, I don't think there's a definitive answer to this question, and here's why. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Everybody's going to have different breeds of chickens. Everybody's going to have a different climate. Everybody's going to have a different kind of coop, a different setup. So all of that comes into play. You don't want to have little frizzled bantams if you live in Minnesota and you don't have a coop that isn't drafty. If you live in Florida, you don't want some really cold hardy breeds that are going to struggle in the heat of summer. And I see that argument a lot of times. You really need to worry about the summer more than the winter, and that can be true. Chickens do tend to, handle cold weather better than hot weather, excessive hot weather, but that does not mean still that they don't struggle or suffer sometimes when it's extremely cold. So, with that said, I'm going to give you my opinion on the matter. And you know what? Everybody that weighs in on this, it's just your opinion. So you may disagree with everything I'm about to say, but a top priority for me is for my girls to be healthy and happy and comfortable and safe. I want every day of their life to be good. So I live in the southeast side of the country, and we don't normally have really, really cold weather. So this isn't something that I have to worry about a lot. We get those handful of days every year where, and they're usually here and there sprinkled throughout the winter, where we have just a crazy cold night. And, that's another argument that you should never supplement heat people will say is, if you're using electricity to supplement, then what if your power goes out? Then the temperature drops and all of your birds are going to die. And honestly, I've not had that happen, but it can't really be true, because one day last year it was 70 degrees and 4 hours later it was 20 degrees. So we dropped 50 degrees in like 4 hours, and all of my chickens are still alive. So that can't necessarily be true. I know that it wouldn't be easy for them to handle, but that's the way our weather is here in the South. It is seriously bipolar. But we have had unusually cold weather the last couple of weeks, and the other night it was going to be down to 15. And I have some chickens that have spectacularly large combs, and I love those combs, and I don't want to see them get frostbite. And then I also have almost half of my chickens probably have feathered legs and feet. And while that logically seems like a bonus if it's cold, it's not a bonus if their feet are wet. And when it snowed here the other day, it's been a few days, it was really wet, like frozen rain, sleet. It was truly a wintry mix is what they were calling it, and it was. Very, very wet. Right now, it's almost all melted. The ground is just saturated. So, if their feet are wet, the feathers are going to hold that moisture. And if it's cold enough, then it'll freeze on the feathers. And that's when you're looking at a potential of frostbite on their feet. Now, if I was going to suggest a heater for anybody to use in a coop, and I know this changes things if you don't have electricity in your coop or you don't have a way to get electricity to your coop. I would suggest a sweeter heater, and I'll put a link in the description for that. These heaters, though, are not cheap, and they also are radiant heaters. You would like hang it above your roost, and your chickens have to be fairly close to it to really benefit from it. I don't have a sweeter heater, and the price is, you know, one of the reasons, but also because I have 16 feet of roost bars, and I would literally probably need 4 of those minimally for my chickens to really benefit, because they don't share well and they don't sit really close to each other. They probably would if it was too cold, but I would be invested in that like $500 or $600, $700, you know, in the heaters. And because of the fact that it's only really cold enough to need that a handful of nights a year, it really wouldn't be cost effective for me to go that route. So I am definitely, my opinion is, supplement heat when you feel like it's necessary, and go with your gut, because nothing really breaks my heart more than to see somebody in the group. I've gotten chickens for the first time, and I'm in several groups, and they're all like this. I got chickens for the first time this year, and it's, you know, negative 10 degrees here, and, you know, I don't have insulation at all in my coop, and I feel like my chickens are really, really too cold. And they will literally, I mean, people will be like, chickens never need heat. You people are being so ridiculous, you know, and they get really bashed, and they get shamed into not going with their gut. And then it'll be literally a few days later that they're holding their rooster, whose comb is black and falling off now because it is so frostbitten. And they're like, I just should have listened to my heart. You know, I should have gone with my gut. And I agree. And people might disagree, because I agree with that, but you can disagree all you want, because the way I do things here is I want my chickens to not only survive a really, really cold night, I want them to be comfortable. And I know that they can handle the cold better than I can. They're not little people, and I know part of the argument is their body temperatures are a lot warmer than ours, and they are. They're about 105. And then the other part of the argument is they're wearing a big down coat, you know. Well, true, but even if it was something that's very tolerable for chickens, even if it was 40 degrees outside, yeah, I could spend the night out here in a down coat and layers of clothes, and I'm still going to be cold. You know, I'm still going to be cold. If it's 30 degrees, I'm going to be real cold. And my rear end's going to be in the house, you know, where I'm comfortable. And so I want to be able to do the same thing for my chickens. And I honestly cannot tell you what it would make me feel like to come out here in the morning and find some of my girls that have those big, beautiful combs with frostbite on them. And knowing that I could have avoided that and didn't, you know, and just listened to somebody shame me into telling me, you know, it's 15 degrees, your chickens are absolutely fine. So what I do when it's like that is I want to be as safe as I possibly can. Obviously, the sweeter heaters would be the way to go. I cannot, in good conscience, spend that much money on those heaters. So what I have for my girls, and I don't have to use this very often because we don't usually have temperatures like this, is I have a small heater. Now, this heater is called a handy heater, and I will also link that. I'm not telling you to go get one at all. I am no expert in this. I am just saying what I do and what I feel comfortable with. This little heater plugs directly into the outlet, so there's not a cord, which is something that I concern myself with. Is it a cord that somebody might trip over and knock a heater over or whatever? So if I have it plugged directly into the outlet, I can block it off. I have a cage around it so none of the chickens can come near it, and nobody's going to touch it. I have something under it, a metal grate under it, so in the event something crazy happened and it came out of the wall, even though this little heater, the body of it doesn't get hot. So I love that. It has a timer on it, so if you were to get sidetracked or go to sleep or whatever, hit your head in the house and pass out, it's going to turn itself off. Now, when I use it though, you know, I don't care what it is. If it's something electrical out here, I still worry. And like when I was saying it doesn't get hot, like it can be plugged in and turned on, you know, 80 degrees and you can still put your hands on it. So I love that. But how I handle this is they usually come to roost at about 5:45. I'll come out and you can see the door. I just have that sheet hanging there. So just the bottom of it is kind of really open, and I'll like sort of make sure I'll pull the door where it's just cracked. So there's not a lot of air coming through. And they can come in there, and I'll go ahead and have it turned on at about 5 o'clock. Turn it on, I put it on the lowest setting, which is 60, and then I let it run. I set the timer, and then I set myself a timer in the house on my phone. And that is just that little extra measure, you know. And now I know this isn't feasible for everybody, and I know this might not work either for everybody's setup because my coop is insulated, because this used to be my workshop. And it holds the heat in. So by the time I come back out here, and I will bring myself back out here because I do not trust leaving it on all night, even though, like I said, I can put my hands on it and the whole body of it will be cool, and it's tiny. It's about this big. I'll still come out and turn it off and unplug it at about 10:45, 11 o'clock, because I'm always still up. And then I bring every night that I have it plugged in, I will bring my little laser thermometer. So the night that it was so cold, that was the coldest it's been so far, I walked outside and it was not as cold as it was going to get yet. I left it on till a little after 11. I came out and pointed my little laser thermometer at the ground, and it said 17 degrees. And I came in, and that tiny little heater had been on, and it was 43 degrees in here. So because it's so well insulated, I can turn it off, and the temperature will just slowly go down over the course of the rest of the night, which I kind of want it to do. So when I open the door, they're not like, oh my gosh, it's freezing out there. And I can point that thing all the way across the other side of the coop where the chickens are, and up above it, down below them, and it's, you know, 45 way up there, 43 mid, you know, and maybe 42 down below them. It will be at about, this morning it was at 38 degrees in here. And then the morning that it was so cold, when it got down to 15, it was 36 degrees in here still at 7:30 in the morning. So it holds the heat in really well. And I have the comfort of knowing that they're comfortable, because there'll be a lot of people that say chickens don't get cold. If you walk outside and your chickens are standing huddled against the side of your house or in the coop, and they're all bunched together and they're puffed up and they're, you know, got their necks down and they're one leg up and they're shivering, they're cold. And while any of us can shiver for a little while and be cold for a little while, I've said it, you know, a few minutes ago, their comfort is important to me. I want every single day of their life to be wonderful. And I know that's not possible, but if it's something that I can avoid, then I'm going to avoid it. And by being able to come in here and just bring the temperature in here up 15 or 20 degrees when it's miserably cold outside, then I know I can come in, like I said, and I do every time I have it on, I come out and I go ahead and turn it off and unplug it. That way I don't have to think about it in the middle of the night, you know, if anything's happening or anything's going wrong with the heater. But if you can't do something like that, there are definitely things you can do to help out if you especially live in a really cold climate. That is to do the deep litter method. And if you don't know what that is, there are a million videos out about it. I don't do it here because I don't really need to. But that is an excellent way to produce heat in the coop. You can also, if you have a drafty, you know, anywhere there's draftiness, you know, wrap your coop in plastic, make sure your windows have plastic over them, make sure you know, your doors are sealed. You don't have a doggy door just wide open, blasting air in. You know, there are just several different things that you can do. You know, hang blankets up to make their roost area a little more, covered, and not covered, but, where they can hold their own body heat in together. Just several different things that you can do to make sure that you're winterizing as well as you can. But that's how I handle the extreme cold for my girls, because their comfort is very important to me. So I hope you guys are enjoying our content, and if you are, stick around, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And also, if you didn't see the video, we're having a giveaway, and the drawing is going to be February the 1st. So go check the video out. I'll put the link to that in the description also, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.